Hey guys and girls, my name is Alan and welcome to today's video. I do apologise, there has been a lack of content over the past week or so, and there's been a couple of reasons really. So the first reason is I've been feeling a little bit tired because of staying up way too late playing way too much Fortnite, and that's a certain someone's fault. You know who you are. And the second reason is I have actually been picking up some extra shifts at work. So a couple of people have been off on holiday and other stuff. So I picked up an extra couple of shifts. So obviously I'm working more. So I've got a little bit less time to obviously record videos. And it takes a while to record these videos. I keep banging on about it, but it does take a bit of time to record, render, and then upload, and then post, and all the rest of it. So it does take a bit of time. So one of the other reasons why we're short-handed at work at the moment is because one of my colleagues, one of my good friends, has actually left. So she's handed in her resignation and she's left work, and basically she's gone to follow her dream, and her dream is to open a hotel somewhere on the coast, and she's managed to achieve that. And it's been months in the planning, and to be honest with you, I didn't think it was going to complete this fast. Like, I'm happy for her, I really am, but it's just one of those weird things where you don't expect it to happen and suddenly it's just there and she's gone. And I'm missing obviously a good friend at work, but also a really good colleague as well, because we got on really well. And work's a funny old place, isn't it? Because you spend so much time with these people, and in a lot of cases, and in my situation, I spend a lot more time with my colleagues at work than I do with my friends in real life, and even more so than my family. And I used to live at home, obviously, so I used to spend a lot of time with them. But ever since I moved out, like, people at work have taken over as the people that I speak to the most and see the most, and I see them, like, you know, a few times a week, so that's really, really often. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a weird sort of feeling to spend that much time with someone and then they just obviously leave, and not only leave the job but leave the entire city and move to somewhere else in the country entirely. I'm really happy for her, obviously, and I wish her all the best with her business and all the success and all that. And I said I will go down and visit one day. I've no idea when I'm going to go down and visit, but I know where she's going to be for the next few years. She's not exactly going to up sticks and leave, obviously, because that's now her new home and now her new business as well. So I will go down and visit at some point. Gone but not forgotten, and I'm obviously interested to see who we're going to get as a replacement for her. I don't know when that's going to happen. It's not going to happen anytime soon because of office politics or the rest of the bullshit. So she's not going to get replaced anytime soon. So we are going to be short-handed for the next few months at the very least. So I might have to pick up more shifts just to cover her, and also the shifts that I'm on, because she's no longer working with me. Obviously, we got to pick up the slack, and it's just, yeah, it's not a great time when someone leaves, and it always takes a while to fill someone's position, and especially someone who's obviously such a valued member of the team as well. So that's going to be really difficult. But hey ho, life moves on, and as I said, I'll go and visit her at some point in the future. Just have no idea when that's going to be. Right, so today's video is 100% definitely going to be the last one in my series of my US trip recap videos. It's a series that's been ongoing for what, 3-4 months now. I'm pretty sure I started before Christmas last year. Then I took a break over Christmas, I took my other stuff, and then obviously I picked it up again over the past few weeks and months. And it's just mad, but I'm definitely going to finish it today. Last week I covered some miscellaneous stuff that we did after obviously the big events. So I just talked about little trips that we took in California and Aunt's garden and just interesting wildlife and plants and that sort of stuff. It's really nice to just think about those things in retrospect, in my opinion anyway, because I don't know, I'm the sort of person who, I quite like these little moments, like seeing the hummingbird on the plant while I'm in the bathroom. That's just a nice little memory, a nice little feeling. And because I'm quite interested in wildlife and plants and stuff. I'm not like a massive, you know, conservationist or anything like that, but I do enjoy wildlife. I do enjoy seeing these exotic plants, and I appreciate like a beautiful plant and, you know, beautiful flowers. And I love eating fruits. So obviously seeing all these plants which are, you know, yielding fruits that I can eat and fruits that I enjoy eating, that's just really nice. And likewise with wildlife as well, you know, seeing them in their natural habitat and just, you know, doing what they're doing, and just, I don't know, just nice little moments, and I really like that. And I've talked about how, you know, I've got squirrels and stuff living near my area, you know, they cross through my back garden every now and then, and just little moments like that. I really do like it. You don't always have to spend, you know, crazy amounts of money to experience nice things, and you don't always have to travel, you know, far afield to experience these sort of things as well. So, I mean, I say that, obviously, I went to America, but I mean, that was for, you know, I went for a good reason. I went for a family's wedding, so it's not like I went there just to enjoy this stuff. That stuff was just a nice little bonus to go with it. But that's what I mean, like, you know, you don't always have to plan these things for them to be enjoyable, to be nice, you know, and to be a fun memory in the back of your head as well. So, just simple things in life. I have mentioned that, you know, that hashtag in my tweets and stuff a few times, so this is the sort of stuff I'm talking about when I say, like, it's the simple things in life. It really is sometimes, it really is. So anyway, where was I? So basically we had the last few days, and then it was coming up to the night before, and I think this was when I actually decided to buy my coach tickets from the airport back up to where my home city is. And it's kind of funny because just like all the other aspects of my planning for this trip, and obviously for buying stuff for the wedding, suit and stuff, I left buying the coach tickets and returning home from when we landed at the airport last minute as well, and it was really annoying because if I'd just bought them like if I'd have bought them at the same time I bought my plane tickets, if I'd have bought them just before I left for the holiday instead, it would have been a lot cheaper, half price, maybe even more, but instead I had to pay full whack and almost as much as it had been if I'd have just bought on the day. And it's always more expensive to buy like tickets or that stuff on the day, always. So if you can buy in advance, even if it's just a couple of days, couple of weeks, you will save money. You don't ever want to leave it last minute, and you don't ever want to buy it on the day at the station, unless of course it's an emergency and there's not a lot you can do about that. But if you can buy it in advance and you've got time to buy it in advance, then my pro tip is to do it in advance, because you will save money and it's a lot less stress as well, because you're guaranteed getting a seat and all the rest of it. Fortunately, the coach is practically empty, but the cost of the ticket is still high because you bought it last minute even though the trip is empty. So yeah, the final day came, and obviously, you know, we'd make sure we packed all our stuff, and my aunt and uncle dropped us off at the airport, and it was just a really nice day, a typical, you know, sunny day in California. Kind of a nice airport, I suppose. Sort of what you'd expect from a city like San Francisco, you know, kind of modern, up to date, that sort of thing. And we didn't hang around that long, to be honest. We, I mean, you had to check in early as always, but then once we'd done that, we just chilled for a bit, had a coffee and some snacks. And then we went through to the lounge, and then we just waited for the plane. And again, we flew Virgin Atlantic on the way back. But the plane itself was a newer version of what we flew on the way to America. Let's just say, as well as the plane being better than it was on the way out, the talent on the way back was a bit better as well. So that's really nice. If I remember correctly, it was sort of a late afternoon, early evening flight. So we were going to fly through the night time to get back into the UK. And I'm nocturnal anyway, so it's not a big deal for me. But it was just sort of a little bit bizarre, because obviously we had like an early dinner, whatever it was, and then they pulled the blinds down, or at least they did something to turn the windows like from clear to like dark. So obviously it's a newer version of pulling the blinds down. I'm aware of the technology, but I can't remember what it is. But anyway, they did something, because there's no actual shutters anyway. You don't pull them down anymore. You press a button and it does something. I can't remember what it does, but it frosts up the glass and it turns it dark. Anyway, if you've been on a plane recently, you know what I mean. But it's quite common in like Windows and stuff these days. Well, I say common. It's becoming quite common in Windows and stuff these days. So that's really cool to see. I was just sitting there watching some stuff, not a lot of stuff, to be honest. I really was interested in some films I'd already seen on the way there, so I wasn't going to watch again. But what I did do was I did sit and listen to some music. They had quite a big collection of music, and it's funny because before I went on my trip, I put a load of like new albums and stuff on my MP3, fully expecting to listen to some of those while I was over in the States. I didn't listen to a single track on my MP3 player while I was over in America. It wasn't until I got onto the plane that I started listening to music, and I didn't even listen to my own music. I listened to the new albums that I'd put on my MP3 player, but I'd listen to them on the plane from their catalogue. So I was listening to that, making some notes on my phone about my trip, because I was fully expecting to record these videos as soon as I got back, but unfortunately events meant I couldn't do that. But I was fully expecting to bang out these videos and get them done probably before the end of the year. But here we are, 2019, almost 4 months of the year gone, and I'm just about recording this final video to go up tomorrow. So yeah, it's been a funny old journey, but I'm happy to just talk about it, and it's been nice to just reminisce, as I said. Anyways, we got back to the UK, got on the coach, long journey back to Brum, got picked up by my parents, and then they took me home. And I slept pretty much the entire day. It was a morning return as well. We got back about, I think we got back about early morning, like 10 AM, I'm tempted to say. Got back to Brum about midday. And then I just slept like the entire day, probably through to the next day as well, to be honest. I can't remember exactly, but it was just, yeah, just really exhausting because I hadn't slept on the plane. This is the other thing I didn't talk about, is that while I was listening to my music and making my notes, like the entire plane was sleeping. And it was only like a 5-hour nap or something, but everyone was out sleeping, and there's me awake. Just trying to sleep but not really sleeping, so I just end up doing this other stuff instead. And it's just really weird seeing like everyone sleep. I remember when I went to America all those years ago that this was a similar sort of situation. I was sitting there playing my games and the whole plane was sleeping. What was even funnier was that the next day, well, a few hours later, it was obviously early morning in the UK, so they opened the blinds. Well, not opened the blinds, but you know what I mean. They did something to the windows to make them see through again, and you can see the sun coming up. And people were actually queuing up to go to the bathroom with like their wash bags and everything. It's like, you can't have been asleep for that long, and you don't need to go for your full routine, because people were proper queuing like down the aisles to get into the little toilet cubicles to, I don't know, brush their teeth, wash their face, whatever. And I understand that, but you know, there's a massive queue and the plane's about to land. You don't really need to do this stuff. But it's, I guess, some people habits die hard, right? Even if it was only a short little nap or, you know, sleep or whatever. But it's just made me laugh. And so yeah, got back to my house, slept, and that was it. That was my trip done. I think I had like a day off, so I slept that first day, I had a day off, and then I was back at work the day after that, so I didn't have too much time to recover from the jet lag and stuff, but my sleeping pattern's screwed anyway, so it wasn't a big deal to me. But it was just, I don't know, it's just nice to be back home. Like as much as I had fun over in America, I'm very much a creature of comfort. Like I like my own surroundings. I like being at home. I'm not a massive traveller. I travel because obviously it's a family's wedding, but had I chosen to go in there by myself, maybe not in my current situation. I mean, the entire trip wasn't cheap, and I'm not minted or anything, so I had to save up quite a lot for this trip, and I spent a lot, like easily £1,000, just for the stuff that I paid for. Bearing in mind, I didn't have to cover accommodation. My aunt and uncle picked up a lot of the food that we went out, and they also picked up a lot of the travel as well, so obviously they pay for petrol, they pay for public transport. I didn't have to cover any of that, so if I'd had to pay for that, probably would have been £1,500 for the whole 3 weeks, which, I mean, if you work it out, it's about £500 a week, which I suppose is not that bad considering how far you're traveling, and the places that we visited and stuff like that. But it was still, it wasn't cheap for someone in my situation. You know, I've got bills to pay, I've got a mortgage to pay, but it was nice, and I'm happy that I could be there for my family. I'm happy to be there for my, my cousin for a big day and stuff. And it's memories at the end of the day, right? It's stuff that I'm going to remember for a long time, and obviously it gives me stuff to talk about with you guys and girls. And hopefully you've enjoyed the journey and the story with me, and of course all the gameplay that I've shared during the course of this few months. And moving forward, I will continue posting Uncharted 4 gameplay. I do have some more footage I do want to share of other games I've been playing of late. Of course, I'm still streaming Fortnite on a regular basis. Check me out, the channel links on the screen, also in the description below. And of course, we're going to be continuing, as in me and the boys are going to be continuing our Borderlands walkthrough in preparation for Borderlands 3, whenever that's going to be released. Alright, so that's it. I've finished my story retelling of my trip to the US. It's been, what, this is part 14 now, I think. It would have finished last week, but of course, as I said, I didn't have time to record a video because I was busy. And it's a shame really, because I was on track to do almost 3 weeks of videos on the bounce, and then I fell off it. A couple of late nights and a couple of extra shifts of work, and I didn't have time, and I was tired, and I was feeling lazy. And some other stuff as well, which I'll probably talk about in next week's video. Nothing major, just some stuff that obviously meant that I had less time to make the videos. So it's a bit of a shame. I would have liked to have done an entire month. It would have been a bit of a stretch to do anything more than that, because it was requiring a lot of effort. I'm not even joking. Prepping and then posting a video every single day for almost those 3 weeks was a lot of effort, very tiring. And it would have been nice to do the entire month, but I don't think I could do this on a regular basis. If I didn't have a job on the side, and if YouTube and Twitch were the only things I was concentrating on, then maybe I'd be able to do it. But obviously I spend a lot of time streaming as well. I spend probably more time streaming than I do, recording videos and posting them to YouTube. And I already spend quite a lot of time doing that. So doing the two together and every single day, well, most days, just required a lot of effort. And there is something I do want to talk about going forward, for Borderlands 3, whenever that's going to be released. Alright, so that's it. I've finished my story retelling of my trip to the US. It's been, what, this is part 14 now, I think. It would have finished last week, but of course, as I said, I didn't have time to record a video because I was busy. And it's a shame really, because I was on track to do almost 3 weeks of videos on the bounce, and then I fell off it. A couple of late nights and a couple of extra shifts of work, and I didn't have time, and I was tired, and I was feeling lazy. And some other stuff as well, which I'll probably talk about in next week's video. Nothing major, just some stuff that obviously meant that I had less time to make the videos. So it's a bit of a shame. I would have liked to have done an entire month. It would have been a bit of a stretch to do anything more than that, because it was requiring a lot of effort. I'm not even joking. Prepping and then posting a video every single day for almost those 3 weeks was a lot of effort, very tiring. And it would have been nice to do the entire month, but I